Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Christopher Yost's run on the New Warriors, and we're going to cover issues 2 to 4. Now, before we get into these issues, I do have to mention two things. By accident, I had edited out everything relative to one of the members of the team, Water Snake, which for some reason I called Sea Serpent because, again, I have the Spanish edition, so things change in translation. And the thing with this character is that everyone thinks she's Namorita, that something has changed or she has evolved and she doesn't remember her old teammates. But another thing is that Namorita was a clone, so maybe she's like a sister clone to her. That's why they're so similar. The thing is that she's a super aggressive Atlantean warrior and she can control water to a certain extent. And sadly, in these 12 issues that we get of this run, we never get her backstory fleshed out because the OG Namorita had been brought back to life due to time travel shenanigans in the Nova series. But at this moment in Marvel history, I don't know where she's at. And another thing that I messed up in the previous video on the series is that the characters that I called Evolvers are called Evolutionaries, so sorry about that. So now we're going to pick up where we left off with the series. The High Evolutionary has captured Nova, but not the Richard Rider Nova. This is the Sam Alexander Nova. And the thing is that we discover that the High Evolutionary is trying to purge from humanity any type of deviations or any tamperings to the species, because it seems that the Celestials are coming back and they're going to judge Earth. So anyone who's not a pure Homo sapiens or a eternal must be killed, purged, pruned. So basically all the mutants, Atlanteans, Inhumans, clones, anyone tainted by magic or radiation, all have to be killed off. And what the High Evolutionary is actually doing is that he has captured Nova because he wants to download the AI that he has in his helmet, so his evil doomsday machine does not touch or kill any humans by accident. So then the story cuts back to Justice, Speedball, Sungirl, and Hayachi. They were trying to save the Morlocks from the attack of the Evolutionaries, and now they're being confronted by the police. And they're totally freaking out because Hayachi is an Inhuman, because during this time, Marvel very oddly sort of wanted like to phase out mutants and replace them with Inhumans. So now they're like public enemy number one. They're the most hated and feared. Man, that era of Marvel was pretty terrible. They were really pushing Inhumans way too hard. And the thing is that even though I really hated that whole thing with the Inhumans, Hayachi as a character and his power sets are interesting. So what happens is the Evolutionaries had captured and defeated Scarlet Spider-Man, Hummingbird, and Water Snake. And since each one of these characters are like the deviations that the High Evolutionary wants to purge, he sort of uses them to calibrate his machine. So another thing that the story already sort of establishes is that the Evolutionaries and the High Evolutionary are working together. And what we discover is that someone is holding their leash, has put them on this mission. This someone seems to be in cahoots with the Celestials, because also it's established that at first the Evolutionaries and the High Evolutionary did not want to work with each other. Now, going back to our captured heroes, what happens is Scarlet Spider, since he can communicate telepathically with spiders, he's able to use them to short out the containment vessel that he has been put in. He's able to escape and he liberates his, I'm not going to say his friends because he really does not get along with anyone but the other heroes. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I really love how much of an asshole Scarlet Spider-Man is, and that he gets really pissed off that people call him Spider-Man. Even though he does use a Spider-Man costume, it's really funny. It just really shows off that Scarlet Spider-Man / Kane is just this really conflictive guy, because obviously people are going to think you're Spider-Man because you look like him, but he sort of thrives on being pissed off all the time. So our liberated heroes have to deal with this army of evolutionaries that just pop out of nowhere, and they're against the ropes, like they're gonna lose. And it seems that our heroes are gonna be recaptured again when all of a sudden Justice, Speedball, Sun Girl, and Hayachi just appear out of nowhere in the middle of the High Evolutionaries base. I think they were teleported there through the help of the Salem 7. So now basically we have this ad hoc New Warriors team fighting against the Evolutionaries, trying to deal with the High Evolutionary. You sort of get vibes of this being the Evolutionary War Part 2, because that crossover is just very similar to everything that's going down here. So what happens is the High Evolutionary is able to activate his Doomsday machine. Everyone on the team are just laying in agony on the floor, except for Sun Girl, who is the only straight up human on the team. And High Evolutionary actually tells her, look, I don't want these people to suffer. I want to give them a quick death, but I'm here to save humanity. But outside of that villain monologue that we get, trying to win over Sun Girl, she's not having it. She blasts the High Evolutionary. She's able to disrupt his machine, and she saves the day. But the thing is that the Evolutionaries and the High Evolutionary sort of go their separate ways. They teleport and escape. You know, I just realized that just like with Water Snake, Sun Girl does not get too much development in this series. Like, she doesn't get a dedicated story to her. It's a shame because she also seems to be a pretty interesting character. So what happens at the end of the story, we have the High Evolutionary and the Evolutionaries, at least the leader of the Evolutionaries, they have reconvened in the Savage Land. They are going to try to take a second crack at this evil plan. But we're going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.